Okay, everyone, I am Adi and you're watching Adi and Shaba. डेली की तरह हर संडे की तरह आज भी आपके लिए एक बहुत अच्छा इंटरव्यू में लाया हूँ, जहाँ पे 3 साल का एक्सपीरियंस गिरीश नाम का एक स्टूडेंट है हमारे पास। ओके, एक्सपीरियंस डेवलपर है हम बोल सकते हैं। उनका हम इंटरव्यू लेने का ट्राई करेंगे। एंड गाइस, एक्सपीरियंस लोगों से कुछ ना कुछ चीजें आपको सीखने को जरूर मिलती है। इस वीडियो से भी, इस इंटरव्यू से भी आपको बहुत सारी चीजें सीखने को मिलेगी। दैट्स वाई बने रहो इस वीडियो के साथ। ओके, सबसे पहले गिरीश, हमारे ऑडियंस को आपकी पहचान नहीं है, सो कैन यू टेल मी समथिंग अबाउट योरसेल्फ?
Yeah, so my name is 𝗖𝙬 Jagtap. I worked as a full stack developer from last 3 years, where I worked on React.js in
Mhm.
front end and in back end I use microservices, Spring Boot microservices. Majorly, I worked on two major projects. There, I worked as a full stack developer. My daily work is to develop components like end-to-end components using React.js, integrate it with backend microservices, and some basic query of MySQL database.
Okay, okay, Girish. Girish, can you tell me the difference in between monolithic application and microservices application?
Yeah, so monolithic application is like a central database we have. We need to develop it at a time. Means whole application can be deployed only once, and and microservices is divided in parts. Like we create some, we divide application into the parts. We develop it and we deploy it. So the centralized. I mean, central. There is no centralized way. We divide application into the parts in microservices, whereas uh, in monolithic, we our approach is like we focus on centralized things like centralized database and everything. So
Mhm.
for small scale application, we go for monolithic architecture, and for if our application is large, then we can use microservice architecture.
Okay. Can you tell me for the communication of different microservices, what concept you are using currently in your project or you have used?
So basically, I used REST template to communicate in between microservice.
Okay.
But we have means if we have to read from microservice, means we don't have to uh, we don't want two-way communication. Means we have one microservices is sending some messages and we have to capture it. So in that case we can use Kafka also. It is means it is very it is very convenient to use Kafka, that it will the throughput of the Kafka is very high, so that we can read the messages and we can do communication effectively using Kafka. But if we want two-way communication, I used REST template to communicate with microservices.
Okay. Fine, fine, fine. Totally agree. Very good, Girish. Girish, some other questions I want to ask you. Can you tell me difference in between Spring and Spring Boot?
Yeah, so Spring and Spring Boot major difference is like Spring Boot will give us means auto configuration is there in Spring Boot, but in Spring we need to define beans,
Hmm.
like we need to configure in XML file that
Mm-hmm.
which beans we want to use. And second is in Spring Boot we have embedded server, but in Spring we need to add externally the server, and like Spring Boot is ready. Spring Boot is ready to use. We have actuator in Spring Boot. So in Spring we need to do lots of configuration, manual configuration.
Okay.
But Spring Boot is eliminated that part. Means it is very easy for developers to use Spring Boot rather than Spring.
Okay. Okay. Fine. What is exactly at the rate Spring Boot application annotation?
So the Spring Boot application annotation, whenever we start the Spring Boot project, So first it will look for main file, and main file is annotated with @spring boot application annotation. And basically it is a combination of three annotations, like configuration, enable auto configuration, and component scan. So the combination of these three is spring boot application annotation.
Okay, okay. You know about run method, that is Spring application dot run method internally Spring Boot is calling. What is the exactly inner functionality of run method? Can you explain it?
I don't know about much about the internal working, but I have an idea. Like
Mhm.
whenever we start the project, first it will load all the components. Component scanning will be done, and all the required beans will get auto configured by Spring,
Mhm.
and it will start the program. Means I don't have in-depth knowledge about the run method, but I have that idea that Spring is doing internally like this.
You know who is responsible to print the banner, that is Spring banner we got on the console? How exactly it is printing? Who is the responsible to print the banner?
Mm, I
Okay, no problem. Run method internally doing that things. Okay, it will start the IOC container. It will configure all components, and it will also print the banner on console. Okay, we can
okay.
customize this banner also. Okay, there are many ways. No problem, Girish. It's okay. I would ask some more question. You know about at the rate depends on annotation.
Depends on, no, I did not came across this
Okay, no
annotation.
problem. At the rate bean and at the rate component. What is the difference?
So difference means like at whenever we annotate a class with @, so container will get to know that this is the component, and we have to, means this is marked as a component. But @bin is we use to create, means to create instances of that component.
Mhm.
So means like to create object in Spring Boot, we use @bin annotation, and component is class level annotation,
Okay, and at that bean is a method level.
method level.
Okay, 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 fine. What is exactly IOC?
IOC is like it is a container.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, IOC is like inversion of control. So in Spring Boot, it is a concept like uh, on the behalf of developer, Spring Boot will take charge of creating beans, and
Mm-hmm.
inversion of control will takes place, like it will create bean, inject the bean whenever it is needed, like by auto wiring we are using auto wired annotation. So IOC is responsible for that auto wired operation. So main IOC is inverting the controls from developer, and it will take care of itself that which bean should get injected, and configuration of beans also.
Okay, okay, fine. In which case, Girish, we can use qualifier annotation.
Mm, means suppose we have beans of same name.
Mm-hmm.
So to use that beans particular, means which bean is used, means to use which bean for which case, we can use qualifier annotation, and we will give the value of, means
Can you give one
means
example, simple example, like what two same name means?
like suppose we have one class of uh, suppose a employee we have class, and in that class means we have two employee objects, but the operations in that class are different for different purposes. So we can specify using qualifier that for which operation we want to use which class.
Okay, 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 fine, fine. How many ways to do the dependency injection in Spring Boot?
Mm, like we can do dependency injection using setter we can do.
Mm-hmm.
Construction injection also we can do.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Constructor, setter,
Field
and
injection.
using field, through field we can do.
Yes, 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 absolutely right. Okay. Which approach is recommended and why?
Construction, I think constructor injection is good uh,
Why?
when
What
we
is the
inject.
reason? What is the reason?
Mm, because whenever we define the constructor, we I think we don't will not miss anything, means while injecting all, means we means already parameters are there in constructor, so the chances of missing anything will get low while injecting, while doing dependency injection.
Okay, 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 fine, Girish, no problem. Can you tell me the life cycle of Spring Bean?
mm, Life cycle of spring bean,
Mm-hmm.
I know, but I'm not recalling this time.
Okay,
Like
okay,
first day.
it's okay, no problem. Explain dependency injection concept exactly.
So dependency injection is a it is a design pattern in Spring Boot,
Hmm.
like where dependencies are injected automatically. Means whenever we need a dependency, it will Spring Boot will inject that dependency, and it will release that dependency after the use. So by using auto-wired, we can, means we don't have to create a, means a hard copy of object whenever we want to inject the dependency. We need to annotate it with auto-wired, and it will inject that dependency whenever we call that object.
Okay, okay, fine, fine. Difference in between controller and REST controller.
So basically, REST controller is used in RESTful web, means RESTful microservices.
Mhm.
Uh, the REST controller is a combination of controller and response body. So we don't need to provide explicitly response body, means it will always return in a JSON or XML format the response of that API. But in controller, I think we use controller annotation in Spring Boot MVC, where the view resolver will resolve that response of that API using controller.
Yes, yes, yes. Very good, Girish, very good. Girish, can you tell me some HTTP status codes?
Like we have, if services, means API is getting uh, a response correctly, then we have 200 status code.
Okay.
Like we have, if we get error, not found error, we have 404
Mm-hmm.
status code. Like yeah, those two I know. Most of the case, in most of the cases we observe these things, but there are some other codes also, but I'm not recalling this right now, but
Okay, okay, it's okay.
401 is also is there.
505, you know about that? That's a common 505.
505, yeah, I know, but the reason I'm not is,
Okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, no problem. Okay, fine, 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 Girish. Okay. I want to ask some more questions on Spring and Spring Boot. Guys, Spring Boot is very important concept and lots of questions arise from there. Okay. So be ready with knowledge. Your knowledge will survive in your interview. Okay. Only knowledge. Okay. No problem. Girish having good knowledge. We are seeing that. Lots of questions and he's giving answers also. Okay. Okay. No problem. Girish, I want to ask a question on something. Spring security. Okay. Spring Boot provided something called starter POM dependencies, right? What is exactly starter POM dependencies?
Starter form dependency. I'm not.
Like Spring Boot Starter Web, Spring Boot Starter Data JPS, Spring Boot Starter Security. What is exactly starter?
Starter. Okay. So whenever we means to create the Spring Boot project, we need some different dependencies. So Spring Boot web dependency we need to make it as web application. So starter dependencies are required to create Spring Boot project. Means these dependencies are required. Without that, we cannot create. Means we can create, but these dependencies are required at the start of the Spring Boot project.
Okay,
So
okay,
web is there. If we want to web Spring Boot web is there, and if we want to perform database operations, then we have a JPA MySQL driver also. Like this, we can add we can add dependencies.
okay, 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 fine, fine. Very good. Now I want to ask you, like, if I want to configure security in my our application, like I want to do the authentication and authorization, what are the steps you need to follow, and what do you do in this case if I want to configure authentication and authorization in my Spring Boot application?
So, as per my experience, I we used JWT token for
Okay.
authentication and authorization.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever means the configuration part was done by my seniors because it
Okay.
is a security level. So,
Okay.
but I know the flow of that how it works.
Yes, sir, you
Like
can explain.
like whenever we login first login request will come from front end.
Mm-hmm.
The JWT token will get created, and it will be saved in server side, and after to enter in the application,
Mm-hmm.
that token will means it will get matched with URL, means through URL. Say when we call second request, where we get second request in the
Mm-hmm.
URL, we have that token saved. So
Mm-hmm.
that token and the previously generated token will get matched. If it is means it is sending true, then user will allow to enter in that application.
Yes, yes, yes. Very good, very good. Right. I've also made the video on JWT token, guys. If you are not seeing, you can check out our channel. Okay. Girish, can you tell me what is exactly authentication and what is authorization? Difference क्या है दोनों में?
So authentication and authorization is like authenticate means we are authenticating means we are matching the username and password is correct or not. But authorization is like for special person, for a special purpose. We will disclose that means open that APIs. So only authorized person can see some of the APIs, or and means when we do authentication, all APIs are visible to everybody. But for
Mhm.
authorization, only specified users can see specified means specified APIs or data which we want to display.
Okay, okay, very good, very good, very good. I want to move forward to the some topics of advanced Java. Tell me the difference in between JDBC and Hibernate.
Like JDBC, JDBC is like we need to create means we need to create connection. We need to create mm, uh, statements for that, and we'll execute the query. Is like
Mhm.
how JDBC works. But Hibernate is comes after JDBC. So the query part means query part. It will use HQL queries like Hibernate query language,
Mhm.
and like mapping is very easy in Hibernate. Like
Okay,
object mapping is very easy in Hibernate. But
okay,
JDBC, through JDBC, it will take more time, and it is very basic. So in advanced level database operation, we can go for Hibernate.
Okay, okay, okay. Girish, can you share me your screen? I will give some problems to you and open the ID, whichever ID
Okay.
you are using.
Screen share is disabled
Just a minute. I will allow.
from
Yes,
your
now,
end.
yes, now you can see.
Yeah. Is it visible?
Yes, yes, yes. It is visible. Okay, so Girish, open your ID like Eclipse or anything you are having used.
Okay.
Okay, I'm seeing your screen. Create one Java class, open your own Java class and main method. Simple.
Yes.
Okay, create two methods like M1, M1. Two methods, normal methods, which are returning nothing. Two methods you need to create like M1, M1.
Hello.
Hello.
Wait. Your voice was breaking.
I think network connection issue from your end because your screen is little bit lagging. Hello.
Hello.
Your screen is lagging. I think network connection issue from your end.
Hello.
Hello. Now visible. Hello.
In- Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, your
Hello.
voice is breaking.
Voice is breaking. I think network connection issue. No problem. Disable the screen sharing. We will take the mock only. Okay. Practical scenario we will take in another
Yes, yes.
interview.
Now it's audible.
Yes, yes. Disable the screen sharing. Disable the screen sharing. We will talk on the questions. Okay, only. We will take
Yes.
practical
Hello.
in. Yes, yes. Yeah. Because of screen sharing, there is a network connection issue. It's okay, no problem. Now it is
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will ask some more questions and we will wind up this interview. Okay, no problem. Girish, can you tell me difference in between string, string buffer, and string builder?
Yes. So in Java, strings are the means group of characters put
Mm-hmm.
together. We call it string. So
Mm-hmm.
string in Java, strings are immutable. Means string class is final, so we can't modify the string if we declare a string.
Mm-hmm.
And so to overcome this problem, we have two classes like string builder and string buffer. So builder can change the size of the string builder and string buffer, and we can change these are not immutable classes, so we can change the content of buffer and string builder. String builder is not thread safe, like it is not synchronized, but whereas string buffer is synchronized, means we can using string buffer we can use a single thread at a time only.
Mm-hmm.
And string builder we can use multiple threads at a time.
Okay, 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 fine. Can you tell me how exactly tree set will sort the elements internally? What is the internal structure of tree set?
Mm. Like tree set part of collection set framework set interface, and tree set will sort the means sort internally, like uh, left hand means we have a tree like structure where left side elements are smaller, and right side elements means the elements of the node, the left side elements are smaller, and right side elements are uh, uh, bigger
Mm-hmm.
in tree structure. So likewise it will internally sort the elements. I don't have idea internally how it works, but as a structure, it works like this.
Okay, 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 fine. By comparing each other, it will sort the data. It's okay, no problem. What is the internal structure of hash map?
So internally, hash map use hash table, I think, internally,
Hmm.
and means to create bucket, it will use hash table, and inside that, each bucket linked list like structure is used.
Okay, okay. What is the default capacity of array list?
I think 10 is the default capacity of array list.
Okay, and what is the default capacity of hash map?
Hash map default capacity is like first 15 bucket, 16 buckets will get created, and
Hmm.
this is the default capacity of hash map.
Okay, okay, very good. Very good, Girish. Can you tell me last question of today's our interview? What is the difference in between iterator and list iterator?
So iterator is used to iterate through the elements, like through collections.
Hmm.
Iterate means we can iterate using iterator, but list iterator is specially for list interface. So whenever we want to do unidirectional ituration, like in one direction only, then
Hmm.
we can use iterator. But in list iterator, we can go backward and forward. So it is bidirectional uh, iteration of list when we use list iterator.
Okay, fine, fine. It's totally very good interview. Okay, overall, and you have such a good knowledge also. Okay, and lots of students who are seeing this interview, I think this knowledge, I think beneficial for everyone. Okay, जो भी इस इंटरव्यू को देख रहे हो, सबको ये नॉलेज बेनिफिशियल होगा एंड आई थिंक आपने अभी तक जो चीजें समझी हैं, इनके आंसर्स आपने सुने हैं, सच में लाजवाब थे. एंड अगर आपको भी इंटरव्यू देना है मेरे साथ मॉक इंटरव्यू, यू कैन कम एंड ग्रो योर सेल्फ, इम्प्रूव योर सेल्फ. ओके, लास्ट में गिरीश को मैं एक फीडबैक पूछना चाहूंगा जो कि हर एक इंटरव्यूअर को मैं पूछता हूँ. लाइक गिरीश, हाउ इट वाज एंड कैसा था आपका एक्सपीरियंस? सबको बताओ, सबने देखा ही है, बट आपका थोड़ा सा एक्सपीरियंस बताओ.
Interview is good, means all basic concepts got covered in this interview, and means, this is what we need. Means whenever we are facing interviews on Spring Boot, this
Hmm.
type of questions will mostly asked. Like we means I have to
Mhm.
study more on the
Mhm.
security part,
Mhm.
and there are some topics which I need to improve, but overall, if you give this much of answers, means you
Yes,
will
yes,
get
yes, yes.
selected. Means there
Definitely
is
इंटरव्यू विल
nothing
बी
like
गेट क्रैक्ड, राइट राइट राइट। आपको देखो 100% में से 70% भी नॉलेज है यार। अगर इंटरव्यू ने देखो मैंने 50% क्वेश्चंस पूछे, उसमें से 30-35 भी आ रहे हैं ना, इट्स वेरी गुड फॉर यू। बिकॉज देखो 100% सबको नहीं आता, जो पूछ रहा है उसको भी नहीं आता, लिटरली फ्रैंकली आई एम स्पीकिंग, राइट। तो ये चीजें होती है। बहुत बड़ा है जावा, बहुत बड़ा है स्प्रिंग बूट, ओके। दिनों दिन टेक्नोलॉजी बढ़ रही है, अपडेट हो रही है, वी नीड टू ऑल्सो अपडेट, ओके। अपडेट हमें भी होना पड़ेगा। कुछ चीजें पता नहीं होती, तो इस इंटरव्यू को देख के डेफिनेटली गिरीश विल अपडेट आल्सो, ओके। खुद को अपडेट करेंगे, एंड आप भी अगर आपको पता नहीं थी कुछ चीजें, आप भी खुद को अपडेट करो एंड आगे बढ़ो, ठीक है। तो चलो गिरीश, विल स्टॉप हियर
And
फॉर।
one more thing, which means which questions you wanted to ask me practically? Means you can give me
Practically,
idea.
I want to ask you like method overloading concept, right? When we pass some parameters, like if I pass the string and object parameter, which method should get invoked at the runtime? If we are passing null value, okay? This questions asked by many interviews. And again, I am asking you some question like
If
give
we
me
are
a.
passing null values, then if
Mhm.
sorry, but if we are passing null values, then null value, then it should throw, I think, exception, null pointer exception.
No, no, you can check it. String parameter method will be called. Okay, if you are passing null at the calling time M1 method, it will invoke the string parameter method M1. Okay, and some questions like what is system.exit? If you are writing system.exit, what will happen in the try finally block? Finally block will be execute or not? Then I am giving some array and find out remove the duplicates from array by using stream API Java. You have mentioned in your resume, right? So I want to check that only questions, otherwise not. Okay, and interviewer
This
also
is
ask, yes,
this
yes,
is
yes.
very easy. Means we can use distinct function
Hmm.
of string. So this is only one line code. Means we have inbuilt function of distinct,
Then
and
how you can
we'll
retrieve
get
the data, like get the employee salary, अगर एम्प्लॉय की सैलरी ज्यादा है तो उनका डेटा कैसे आप निकाल सकते हो? बाय यूजिंग जावा स्ट्रीम एपीआई, जावा 8 कैसे आप कर
filter
सकते
we can use.
हो? बाय यूजिंग फिल्टर दैट,
We
ओके
can
ओके।
use filter.
इट्स ओके। स्क्रीन लैग हो रही थी, बट बाकी सारा इंटरव्यू आपका बहुत अच्छा हुआ है। एंड आपके दोस्त फैमिली सब देखेंगे, देखने वाले हैं, आप भी शेयर करो सबको। ओके, हम मिलते हैं कई और एक और इंटरव्यू में, जहाँ पे हम और एडवांस कॉन्सेप्ट लाइक माइक्रो सर्विसेज, सिक्योरिटी, जेडब्ल्यूटी, इसके ऊपर भी क्वेश्चंस पूछेंगे, ठीक है। चलो मिलते हैं गिरीश, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर ज्वाइनिंग एंड थैंक यू फॉर योर टाइम।
Thanks to you.